Happy all-time high, everyone. I told you it was coming and it's here. And I did talk about 100K, but the question you're probably asking is, are we gonna go to 80K or 60K first? That's what we're gonna explore in the market now. I'm gonna tell you what I'm feeling in this video. So don't go anywhere. I'm gonna tell you where I think we're going next, what you should be kind of focusing on, what things are a little bit on the up and up to high side in which you could wait for opportunities to buy in. So let's get right into where Bitcoin is first. So we're looking at Bitcoin. We're at all-time high. Everyone's happy. And if you're not, put a smile on your damn face, goddammit. It's freaking all-time high time. Now, I talk about this a lot. I say, hey guys, remember that when we hit all-time high, we have a process and a flow of how these things work, right? We generally have a lot of memes start to pop off. Bitcoin hits all-time high, then ETH starts to move pretty fast, and then layer ones, layer twos. Now this cycle, it may be a little bit different in terms of many things can go together because everyone's now looking for what is the next Bitcoin move? What's the next all-time high move? Because many of the layer ones and even Ethereum has not actually gone to all-time highs yet. So looking at Bitcoin right now, where is it going next? Well, our 100K is marked off on here. And it does seem like, you know, how many days do we have until the actual halving? We still have 36 days. So with 36 days left, what do I think could happen next? Personally, with all-time high being way back here and us cracking through it and then retesting it. Last Tuesday I did a video and I talked about something and I'm gonna remind you of this. Tuesdays generally have pullbacks. So it's likely that we could see $69,000 again today to retest again the breakout level that we had to go to all-time high. So we could see a $69,000 Bitcoin bounce off that level or even come a little bit lower. And I'll tell you why. We are very, very far away from the Kijinsen. And we can stay far away from the Kijinsen and it could take a little bit of time to come back. But if we actually think about how far down that is, it's about a $16,000 level, right? And now we do have the buying power from the ETFs. We do have MicroStrategy just bought 12,000 more Bitcoin for $800+ million. And so Ethereum and Bitcoin, all these things are definitely still on the up and up, very likely. I think we could potentially even see $80,000 this week, but it's very possible that we could retest around 60,000. We did it already once. Maybe we come down only to the Tenkin, which is around 63,800. That also would still be a quite large correction. These things can definitely happen because we're getting a flat Kijin, we're far away from price. Just a reminder of that so that you guys are not caught off guard if we do have a pullback. Now remember, pullbacks in this type of market are a blessing because we haven't had halving yet. And when halving happens, just a reminder, 450 Bitcoin a day. Do the math. If they're buying 100 mil a day, there's still too much demand for the amount of supply being created. And that does not mean that miners are actually going to sell all their coins. So there's some really good opportunities coming up. So watch for Bitcoin to go to 80K this week. I think it very likely could happen, but we could have a pullback today and see that come later on, just like I talked about here on last Tuesday. And then I said probably by the end of the week, we'd hit all-time high. And we actually hit the all-time high 3 days later on Friday. So that is basically where we're at right now in the cycle. And there's still a lot of volume, as you can see down here. So Bitcoin is in a great spot. But what about Ethereum, right? Because everyone's been saying, well, coach, what about Ethereum, right? You said Ethereum follows Bitcoin. Well, it does. Obviously, it's been on a very big bull run. I talked about 39.20 last video. So we're already at $4,027. Now, there are two levels above, and there's basically the only real levels that we have are at 44,000, which we all remember hit many times last cycle. So that's this SR level, hit on the negative side, on the support and the resistance, but it's not a super hard support and not a super hard resistance. So it could be very easily smashed right through, kind of how Bitcoin just did with its all-time high. Now, the all-time high on ETH did test many times around 4,800, but again, many times is like 10 times on the daily. We could smash that level too. Just to give you some really quick points before I move on to the next project, Ethereum, I'm targeting between $11,000 and $15,000 a cycle. Why? Because an ETF is probably imminent for Ethereum, and we're gonna see that come to fruition, in my opinion, by latest August, and Ethereum will then go on a massive run, just like Bitcoin. And remember, we have been burning a lot of ETH. Just gonna show you that real quick right now so you can have a quick reminder of what that looks like. So looking at Ethereum, in the last 7 days since I made this video, we burned 32,700 more Ethereum. In the last 30 days, we burned 78,000 Ethereum. Now you guys obviously you know, the gas fees are going up. So people are paying more and the gas is burning Ethereum. Last time we looked here, we had 120 million, 100 plus thousand. Now we have 88,000. This is going to continue dwindling away. And if Ethereum gets that ETF and everyone's looking for what's next, Bitcoin hit its all-time high, right? It can go higher, probably double from where it is right now. But that would only be my target for this cycle. I talked about 140, 150K. That's only double. So people want to make a triple or a quadruple of what they have. And Ethereum is the next bigger thing. But then what happens next? This is what I'm going to focus on this video. We talked about BNB. We talked about BNB way down here at a breakout level just in February. We're only in March. We're literally only like almost exactly to the day a month from that point. And we almost doubled BNB and people told me, no, it's impossible, coach. There's no way it will go that high. Well, we're there, okay? And there's only a few levels above it before it smashes. There's really only one level above it and we're almost there at $638. And the real all-time high was almost $700. So here's the thing. Where is BNB going next? I'll remind you, I thought the higher level of BNB this cycle will be around 1722. We're already basically only a 3x away from that. It's a very realistic level. It sounds crazy, but it's a very realistic level that we could get to. BNB, you forget that when it's $1 to do a transaction or 80 cents off of an exchange, pretty sure that you're all thinking, wait a minute, Ethereum costs $100, costs $1. Probably going to use BNB. BNB is still one of the cheapest places to do a transaction. And so many people will use it. Of course, there's Solana. Some people don't trust it as much. Some people don't trust BNB. But at the end of the day, no one cares. Whatever's cheaper, they're going to use. So these are things we have to keep in mind. Solana. I talked about this last video, and I'm going to remind you again that Solana went above and it retested that level. So we were talking about it on last Tuesday, where we had this huge dip all the way back down to $105 in my zone. And we really smashed it since then. So had you just been looking at that zone and going, maybe it will come back to it, you're up 40%, 43% on that. Now, had you said, okay, well, coach talked about it smashing through the level on the Thursday, which we did, and retesting, that was at $139. I talked exactly that trade is up 8.5%, 9%. Great opportunities there. Where's Solana going next? I talked about a couple times this. $198 is the next level for Solana, and likely we're going to get there much faster than you think. Layer 1s, layer 2s, you should be focusing on them right now, because once Bitcoin does it, Ethereum will go, and so will all the layer 2s, layer 1s. We're starting to see that happen right now. Solana is doing it. AVAX is starting to rip. It's got to that level where it retests, but AVAX is likely going to $60 next. That's its next target. $60 is a pretty good opportunity. Again, it's Tuesday, so we have to watch out, but that'd be a 30% gain from right now. And if we do get a dip, could be even bigger gains. Watch AVAX. Good opportunities are coming. DOT as well. Now, DOT's back at that $10 mark where everyone told me can never go back to. Many people in the last bull market said no way DOT goes down to this level. I said there is a liquidity pocket here, and then we ripped right below it, came all the way down to my strong buy zone. If you go back to videos that I did during the bear market where we hadn't even come down to these levels yet, I said these are my two buy zones. I said right around $5 and right around $4.50, between $3.50 and $4.50. And people told me I was crazy. Look at where we went to. We literally went to $3.50. Now we're at $10.70. Now we're seeing pretty much that one level that I talked about in the past, which isn't very a strong level, rejected the first time. Likely if we drop today, you could look at, a $9.50 buy. That's where I would be looking. And really, as you can see here, there's no real resistance. So this thing could go straight up to $15 to $16 much faster than you're probably anticipating. In the same way it did last cycle, went all the way from $5 to about $50 in a few weeks. I think we could see that again with DOT. Even though people have said, with DOT, ecosystem, not the great, blah, blah, Gavin Wood, Stop listening to bullshit, okay? Reality here is this. Many people told me Gala Games was done. I even thought it might be done. What happens when there's the most amount of fun in a project? It dips the hardest. Do you guys know what happened with Gala Games? Let me just show you real quick. Let me just show you, just so you have a reference point here. Gala Games went all the way down to 0.1 cents. So basically 1 cent, right? Everyone told me it was dead. I also kind of believed it was dead. Then it came back. Here's the reality. It was up almost 550% since that down point. So when you think something can't come back or that it's done, and it did look done, let's be honest here, guys. We went down from 86 cents to 1 cent. It was down 98.5%. They looked dead. There was negative news. There was negative stuff happening. Stop listening to what people tell you. Start realizing that things will happen. And usually when there's a lot of FUD, it does a lot different than what you're expecting. Same as when you thought the SEC stuff was a negative thing and everyone sold off all their tokens and I was buying it. Same reason. Now, with the DOT ecosystem, we have GLMR, right? Now, GLMR, a lot of people thought was dead as well, right? I was buying this down here, you know, kind of going, oh, maybe it's not going to come back. I bought in January, right? January was a good time, went up, and then it dumped all the way down to 16 cents. But I just kept buying on the DCAs, right? Then it started to come back. Now we're above January, and there's a very slim resistance at 80 cents. And then there's a very slim resistance at $1.41. And the only real resistance I see here is at $4.62. So there's a great opportunity with GLMR. I would be watching that. Now, EGLD I've been talking about since way down here at $25. Since that entry at $25, we're up almost 3x. Now, here's the reality with these guys. They went all the way up to $550. Right now it's 70. That is a long way away. And here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a very weak resistance way up here at $1.13. And the real resistance after that is around here, which is $1.60, and the actual strong resistance would be somewhere in the $200 range. Good opportunities are lying amongst you right now. You should be looking for those. Don't look at the stuff that is a 2x. Look at the stuff that is a 5 to 8x, just to all-time high. And we know that this cycle, with the amount of money coming in the market, regardless of it being ETF or not, yes, people will sell their ETF, but they're gonna make money with the ETF, and they're gonna have other money they didn't put in Bitcoin, and they're gonna look for what's the next big thing, whether it be Ethereum's ETF or just now I made money, I'm interested in crypto, which is what happens to everyone. That's what's likely next. Now, to leave you guys off with a few projects that I think could have a pullback, could be something that I actually already took profit on a lot of these projects, just to buy them back a little bit lower. And if they don't go lower, that's okay too, because taking profit is never wrong. So remember that when you're making your decisions, that if you take profit, don't sell your whole bag, sell a little bit at a time. You never can make a wrong choice when you're making money, okay? Even if it goes higher, the what if doesn't matter because it also could go lower. Here's a great example. Arweave. Arweave smashed, super smashed levels, right? It went all the way up to this level, which wasn't even a real resistance, right? The resistance it had, it broke right through. Now it's broken below it. Now here's the thing you have to look with. We see that, I talk about when we break out, we retest and we go higher. We also can go break down, retest and go lower. And we have a huge discrepancy of where the price is right here. To go back to the flat Kijin, we are 28% down. Now, if Arweave went to $27 and was 44, right? What's the opportunity there? We had a big, huge hangman candle right there, which is usually indicative of a pullback. And even if we went halfway to there, we have a 30 to 40% drop that could happen. So instead of looking at this as like, oh, well, like if it goes there, it doesn't matter. The way I play these things is I sold at $44, right? I saw it was almost 11x from my buying point when I talked about it on Twitter. So I thought, you know what? I'm up this much. I'm gonna take 20% of my bag. I'm gonna sell it. So I sold a couple $100,000 of Arweave, right? And then what I did is I went, okay, you know, where's the next place the price could go to? Well, we have these three levels, the monthly open, the Kijinsen, the Tenkin, the 21 EMA. So anywhere in this box that you could create right here, I'm gonna make a nice rectangle, and anywhere in this box, you should be looking at your entry point. Now, if you weren't an Arweave and you're like, oh man, I really wanted to get in, that would be where you should be looking to actually DCA it. Its all-time high from $27 would be about a 4x, 3.5x, right? Good opportunity, and Arweave likely with how it's moving right now this cycle could probably smash that. It also could do what it did last cycle and have a huge run up and then never really come back. So these are the risks that you have. This is why you always take profit. Don't worry about it. Just always take profit, take profit, take profit. Because if things rip too hard, too fast, you get wrecked. FET is another example of one that maybe you should take some profit. Well, it's gone from about 5 cents to $2.50. And if we look at that, from the bottom to the top, it is up about 47x. Now, there's another project that did something like that called INJ. And INJ has not even gone to its all-time high yet again, and that's been, I think, a couple months now. This could happen to FET too and the other AI coins, which is why I'm leveling a little air of caution, because this could actually come back down. And we're seeing similar types of things on that coin as the other. So again, if we saw what we saw with Arweave, we could see the same thing with this one. So I would be looking at buying some more FET around $2 all the way down to $1.85. That would be a great zone to be buying more FET. Why? Because we pulled back down here last Tuesday, and tap the Kijin, and it's very likely that after this type of huge move since, that we could come back down and tap the Kijin, and that'll be very bullish because we go up, we retest levels, we go up. We don't want to just go straight up. If we go straight up in a line, we'll come back down very, very quickly as well. And another thing that could happen is what we saw in the past here. We could go sideways and down for a bit. So we could go sideways and down and come over here and do that after the halving and start having a move again. But it's gone on a crazy epic move. And remember, taking profit is the right thing to do every single time. The last one, of course, we talked about this. I literally drew this when my price was over here. So right over here, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, I said, okay, these are the levels I'd be looking with AGIX. AGIX almost went to 2 of them already. We were like literally at 71 cents. We went to $1.06. We went to all the way up to $1.48 in like no time at all, right? And the market cap of this was under 900 million when I talked about it. And now it's over, I think it's 1.5 billion. So it's gone up a lot. Pullbacks will happen. This is normal. We could see again a zone somewhere around the Kijin and the Tengen. So somewhere around $1.03, somewhere like that. Maybe test the 1618, $1.06. We could also see it come as low as 85 cents. So if you're looking to enter, these are where you could look to start entering. Now, that's something I just want to leave you off today with, is that projects that go really high, really fast, take the profit and put it into something that hasn't gone very far, very fast. Something like AVAX. Sure, it was $8, right? And went all the way to 40. It's up a lot, but its all-time high is still like 3x away, almost 4x away. Good opportunity. DOT was $50. DOT is only 10. There's a 5x opportunity here. Instead of going into AI coins, which could go a little bit higher, and maybe we'll have a pullback first, you go with things like DOT and actually double up your bag that you take profit of, and then you can go back into AGIX when it comes back down. So this is what fund managers do. This is what I personally do. I redistribute the funds and the projects that I'm excited about. And that's how you make generational wealth. And I'll show you guys, just to leave you off with one real quick thing, how I do that with my own list. So looking at my list, what would you guys do? If you know Atom is only 33% up from my initial buy, and you're looking at NEAR up 360%, and you're looking at BTC up 300%, or ETH 200%, or DOT 135%, or ADA up 175%, or AVAX up 300%, what should you be investing to, right? I'm looking at, okay, I'm gonna take some profit out of BTC, a little bit of profit out of NEAR, a little bit of profit out of Phantom, a little bit of profit HBAR, right? Little profit of AVAX, and I'm gonna chuck it into Quant. I'm gonna chuck it into Matic. I'm gonna chuck a little bit more into BNB. I'm gonna chuck it into Atom. Maybe some EGLD is only up 100. And then I go down the list. Oh, World Mobile Token is only up 53%. So I'll put some in that too, because everything else around it's 600, 300, 250%. What ends up happening is they catch up to each other, guys. Like, the reality is their good projects will catch up. So if it's not moved yet, you should be taking some of those funds and redistributing to the ones that have it, right? So if you see FXS is 72, 94 for RSR, 160, 130, and minus 9% for WLD. These might be opportunities for you to redistribute some of your profits into those, so that when they go up 100%, your profits then add compounded profits, right? You're compounding it. So that's how you make generational wealth in the crypto industry, is not by just leaving it the whole cycle. Now, that's a great thing to do if you don't have any time, but if you're actively managing, this could be something you do once a week. You see stuff go crazy and you just take a little bit of profit and put it in stuff that's not moved up as much yet. So I'll leave you with that. Think about this strategy, because I'm gonna raise a multi-million dollar fund at the end of this cycle, and I'm gonna literally just do that. I'm only gonna do the same thing as I'm doing in my list next cycle. It will mainly be secondary, because everything pretty much is created already. Everything's been battle tested. And there's a reason why I'd rather go into an AVE or comp, which have been battle tested and hacked and all the issues have happened already, than go into a brand new DeFi protocol, which AVE or comp could actually just add in themselves. So these are things that you should always be thinking about. I hope that you guys get a lot of knowledge out of how I operate, so you can start applying some of these principles to yourselves, because what I do is boring and it doesn't have a lot of movement every single day, other than my investments into memes and other stuff that's fun. But in general, most of my money that I make in this industry is from secondary market buys at the bottom of the bear market. That's where I'm gonna make the generational wealth this cycle from. That's where most people I know make generational wealth from. They don't make it from going into just meme coins and stuff, because meme coins are a hit and miss. These things are a hit. They've been around 5 years. They're gonna keep doing well in this cycle. Bitcoin could definitely go much higher, but I'm gonna look for things like pullbacks pullbacks on the Tuesdays or on the weekends or whenever eventually people get exhausted, because at some point the buying pressure will stop for a little while and things will pull back. And that's what you should be looking for if you're only 20% in the market and you want to enter. Look for stuff that's not gone up as high, and then look for things that you can add into when the pullbacks come back. Don't try to go in when things are hitting all-time highs thinking it's a great idea, because usually that's the wrong time to invest and you're doing it out of FOMO. Use rationality and you'll always make more money than people that are irrationally entering the market during a time of all-time high after all-time high.